Okay. Where is share screen? Oh, present. Sorry. Okay, can you see the screen now, Spurgears?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So what we learned yesterday is about introduction to gears. We learned about definition of a gear, which is essentially a frictional wheel with the teeth cut on its periphery. And according to AGMA, it is elements that transmit motion and power with successively engaging teeth. So that is the definition. And then we learned about various classification of gears. We can have parallel axis, which includes spur and helical gears. Then intersecting shaft. So it is essentially bevel gears to transmit motion at an angle. Okay. And then we learned about non-intersecting, non-parallel gears, essentially called worm gears. So we learned about types of gears. Then we learnt about a few terminology. So module is equal to d by z, as we know. So module is a pitch circle diameter divided by number of teeth. Okay. So I think yesterday we did not learn about. So each one is called a teeth. So many number of teeth is z. Okay. So number of teeth is represented by z. M stands for module. Module is, what is the definition of module? Can anyone tell me? What is the definition of module? Yeah? No idea? Okay. So module is okay, represented by M is equal to D divided by number of teeth. Okay. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? What I am
Yes, sir.
typing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So module essentially is given by d by z, where d is pitch circle diameter divided by number of teeth. Is that okay? Are you there? Okay. So when you have module is equal to d by z, so it is number of teeth here and pitch circle diameter, and this is module m. Can anyone tell me what do you understand by pitch circle diameter per tooth? Okay. What will be the unit of module? What is the unit of module? Yeah, Gautam Krishna, tell me. Yes. What will be the unit of module?
Millimeters per teeth, sir, I think.
Millimeter per teeth. How? Yeah. Okay. It is pitch circle diameter is in millimeter per tooth. Then what will be the understanding of module here? What will be the understanding of module? So module is, so millimeter per tooth is nothing but it is going to be millimeter per tooth. So that will essentially give you the thickness of gear teeth. Okay. So module essentially gives you the thickness of gear teeth. As the module is more and more, thickness of gear will be more and more. Is that okay? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So module essentially gives you the thickness. So bigger the module, bigger is the teeth. So bigger the teeth, bigger is its load carrying capacity. Okay. And then we learned about design considerations. Where essentially, what you need is power, speed of driving, and driven gears. And requirements of the design are: it should have sufficient strength, then it should have good wear characteristics, and should not fail in dynamic as well as running static conditions. So then we have to learn about beam strength of gear teeth or Lewis equation. This is where we stopped yesterday. So in continuation with that, the beam strength of gear, so according to Lewis equation, he takes that the entire load is given and taken up by one tooth. That is the assumption that he makes. That is, as the load is being transmitted from one gear to another gear, it is given and taken by one tooth. Okay. Now this is the gear tooth diagram that we have taken. B is the face width, and the load that is acting on this gear tooth is the normal load Fn. This normal load Fn has got two components. One is the radial component, another is tangential component. Okay, that is radial component. I am in radial component and tangential component, Fr and Ft. Now the value of Fr or the effect of Fr is neglected because on top of it you will have clearance between the gear teeth when in mesh. Okay, so therefore Fr is neglected. Only the tangential force is considered. So what I do is I rotate this gear tooth by 90 degrees and make it like this. Are you all there? Are you all there? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is tangential load. By rotating this teeth by 90 degrees, I will get my tangential tooth load over here, which is at a distance of h from the root of the gear teeth. So Fr is neglected, right? Now my job is to identify the critical section in the gear teeth. So how do I get that? So to get the beam of uniform strength, what we need to do is we need to draw a parabola through A. So through point A, I draw a parabola which goes through point B and C. So the significance of drawing this parabola ABC is that when I have a gear tooth of parabola ABC, curve ABC, okay, when I make a gear teeth of ABC section, then I will get a gear tooth of uniform strength. That is the significance of this parabola ABC. So, but the tooth is bigger. Okay, how in all these hatched zone, whatever I am showing here, there is more material available for the gear teeth except at B and C. Okay, so therefore the critical section becomes points B and C. These two will become critical sections. Right. Now coming back to this here. So you have point B and C being critical zones, right? So this Ft, the tangential tooth load Ft, okay, and is at a distance of h from the root circle of the gear teeth. This will induce, this force into perpendicular distance will induce what type of stress in the component? Force into perpendicular distances is distance induce what type of stress?
Moment.
Force into perpendicular distance is moment. So what is moment induces? What type of stress it induces?
Bending moment.
Bending moment, and in turn it is bending stress. You have to involve and answer, some of you at least. Okay, so what you have is bending stress. Okay, so the force, tangential force Ft will induce bending stress sigma B given by M by Z, that is M into Y by I, correct? What is Y here? Can anyone tell me? What is Y? Someone please, you have to tell, involve and tell, what is Y?
So deflection.
No, absolutely wrong. Why is
So the
deflection? Y is in
closest
springs.
Distance to the outer fiber.
Yeah, distance of farthest layer from neutral axis. That is why. Who said deflection? Why? You are still in the mood of springs. In springs, this Y stands for deflection. But we are in gears. We are talking about bending stress. Okay, right. So this Y is the distance of farthest layer from neutral axis. And what is I stands for here?
moment of inertia.
Yeah. So M by Z, Z is section modulus, which is essentially given by inertia by distance of farthest layer from neutral axis. So what is moment? Moment is force into perpendicular distance. That is Ft into h. I is bh cubed by 12, that we know, and y is h by 2. Correct? So what I do is I substitute the values of bending moment, inertia, and distance of farthest layer from neutral axis into the equation of bending stress. So when I do that, I'm going to get the equation for tangential force. I'll get simplify, substitute and simplify. I'll get equation for tangential force. So in this expression, there are two variables. One is t and another is h. Okay, these are the two variables which we can express in terms of, or it depends upon the circular pitch PC. So therefore, this t I write it as x into PC. This h I write it as k into PC. Again, x and k are some other constants. So when I substitute t is equal to x into PC into this equation of tangential force, I substitute h is equal to k into PC in tangential force equation. So PC and PC circular pitch one will get cancelled, and then what you are going to get is sigma bending into b into x square into PC by 6k, where PC circular pitch we learned that it is pi into module. That is the circular pitch definition. So that's what we learned in yesterday's class. So what I do is I'll take this x square by 6k, okay, separately. Again, they're constant. I replace this x square by 6k by another constant called y, which is called Lewis form factor or tooth form factor. Finally, I'm going to get tangential force Ft is equal to sigma b bending stress, face width, Lewis form factor. Please remember this y in Lewis equation is the Lewis form factor. It is not deflection and it is not distance of farthest layer from neutral axis. In Lewis equation, this y stands for what? What? This y stands for?
Lewis form factor.
Lewis form factor. All of you please remember. Okay, don't get confused with y in springs, y in bending stress equation, then y in Lewis equation. Don't get confused. They're all different. All right. So sigma b into Lewis form factor. PC is nothing but pi into m. So that is pi into m. So this will give you basic equation for tangential force. Now, this sigma b, essentially in this equation, it depends upon material, okay, that we are going to choose to manufacture gear. And it has got a static stress sigma naught, okay, as it depends upon the material of the gear. So it depends upon allowable static stress of the material. And also, as the gears are subjected to dynamic effects all the time, we need to account for the effect of dynamics, okay, dynamic running. So to account for dynamic effects, we need to multiply this allowable static stress sigma naught with a factor, okay. That factor is represented or denoted as CV, which is essentially called the velocity factor, okay, which depends upon the surface velocity V of the gear. So now, replacing the sigma b by sigma naught into CV, I am going to get modified equation for tangential force given by Ft is equal to sigma naught CV by pi into m. Sigma naught is static stress or allowable static stress of the material that is chosen to make the gear. CV is velocity factor, which essentially depends upon the surface velocity of the gear. B is face width of the gear. Y is Lewis form factor. Pi, m is module. So m is given by d by z. So this equation of tangential force Ft is equal to sigma naught CV by pi m is called Lewis equation. Could you all understand what I said? Could you understand this derivation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll
Yes,
go
sir.
back. I'll go back. So Lewis assumes that the load is given and taken up all by one tooth at a time. So this is the gear tooth, okay, which is subjected to normal force Fn. Resolving this normal force Fn, what we have is Ft and Fr, that is tangential force and radial force. Radial force is neglected, radial component is neglected, and then we are going to analyze the gear teeth. We are going to assume a gear in the form of parabola ABC, which gives us gear teeth of uniform strength. So remaining places we have more material of gear tooth. So the critical sections are identified as B and C. Rotate this gear tooth by 90 degrees. This is what I am going to get. So we have got tangential force and at a distance h acting with reference to root circle or base circle of the gear tooth, which will essentially induce bending moment. So effect of bending moment is to subject the component is to bending stress. So the gear teeth is essentially subjected to bending stress. Okay, so that bending stress is given by m into y by I. Y is distance of farthest layer from neutral axis. So considering it as rectangular cross section, so we take this as t by 2, moment of inertia as bh cube by 12 or bt cube by 12. After that, what we have done is we substitute that equation and extract the value of tangential force is what we get, where T and H are variables, which depends upon circular pitch PC. So what is circular pitch? We have learnt in our previous session that circular pitch is the distance of one tooth to the corresponding distance on the next tooth. So this is circular pitch, which is essentially given by pi into m. Okay, next. So by taking pi x, replacing t by x into pc, h by k into pc, which are again constants. Simplify it, we are going to get this equation. Again, replacing x square by 6k by another constant y, and is called Lewis form factor, which essentially depend upon pressure angle of the gear tooth. Okay, so we get sigma b into y into pi m. Then this sigma b depends upon material of the gear tooth. Okay, so therefore we need to consider allowable static stress of the material, and considering dynamic effects, that is multiply the static stress by a factor called velocity factor Cv, which depends on surface velocity. Replace the sigma b is equal to sigma naught Cv in the equation of tangential force. We are going to get tangential force is equal to sigma naught Cv dy pi m, which is the equation for, equation for bending strength, and is called the Lewis equation. You understood? Could you understand all this?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Fine.
sir.
Now, what you do is, note down, note down this sketch, okay, and then note down this derivation. I'll give you 10 minutes time. Please note down. All of you, please note down. I hope all of you have got data handbook with you people. Is that
Yes,
okay?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Shall I go to the next slide? Did you finish with this?
Yes, sir.
Shall we go to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
1 minute, sir. 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. Okay. No doubt. Chaitanya, shall we go to the next slide?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Please note down, continue. Continue and note down. Up to this. Lewis equation given by sigma naught CV by phi m. Finished? where Y is Lewis form factor, or it is also called tooth form factor. Okay? And open your data handbooks and check what is the equation number over here. How much it is? What is the equation number? Finished? Shall we go to the next? Okay. Shall we go to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Now note down gear design. Note down gear design. So we will go through the procedure of gear design first. Okay. Then look at what are the tables and then equations that need to be used. Okay. Keep your data handbooks open in per gear design. Okay. Yeah. All are ready now. Note down this sketch. This is a pinion. This is a gear. Okay. Please note down this sketch. This is pinion and this is the gear. Driver and driven. This is N1, Z1. This is N2, Z2. Please note down the sketch and just look at the screen. Noted, finished?
So could you wait, sir?
Okay, right. All of you are there watching that screen?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Now, first step is to find the number of teeth. Okay. To find number of teeth on pinion and gear. That is the first step that we need to do. We have got equation given by N1 Z1 is equal to N2 Z2. Okay. This we have learned from our basic mechanical engineering and elements of mechanical and also kinematics of machine. So we have got the N1 Z1 is equal to N2 Z2, where N1 and Z1 are the speed of pinion and number of teeth on pinion. N2 stands for speed of driven or gear, and Z2 is number of teeth on gear. Okay, and here the driver is called as pinion and driven is called as gear. Keep that in mind. So from this equation, I can rewrite Z2 to be equal to N1 by N2 into Z1. Okay. So now to find out Z2, I need to take number of teeth Z1 on pinion. So how do I select? So if nothing is given, we are going to assume 20-degree full depth involute as our gear tooth profile. So what is involute profile? We learned yesterday. Okay. And also I said two standard pressure angles are 20-degree and 14.5-degree. Okay. Involute profile. Now to find the minimum number of teeth Z1. Okay. Minimum number of teeth Z1. So what you need to do is go to, are you able to see the table here on the screen? Which one you are seeing in the screen?
So the diagram
Sir,
of pinion and gear.
gear design.
Oh, you are in gear design only. Wait, I'll take this. Go for this. Okay. Where is it? Okay. Where is share screen? Are you able to see the table now? Are you seeing the?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. How to get it? How to get it? Share screen. Where is the share? Now, can you see the table? No, no. Data and
No,
book.
sir.
No, sir.
How to share that? Any idea? Anybody?
Sir, is it there in the data handbook, sir?
It's there in data handbook. I have taken copy of data handbook as PDF here. So I wanted to share that also on the screen.
So you can tell the page number, no, sir.
Now I can tell, but the thing is, I wanted to show that on the screen. So which I'm not able to do. So how to do that? I'm just wondering, trying to do that.
Sir, if you tell us the page number, any one of us can present the data handbook.
How?
We already have a PDF.
Okay, you can open.
Yes, sir.
Okay, in that case. Yeah. So what you can do is go to your PDF data handbook. Go to. I'll tell you. Yeah, go to table 12.4. Go to table 12.4. 12.4b. Guide to selection of gear tooth system. Are you there? Please open your data handbook.
12.4.
Table 12.4b. Okay, in page number 230. Page number 230, you have got
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
guide to selection of gear tooth system. You are there?
Yes, sir.
You are all there. Fine. Now, in that, if you see, the first column is interchangeable tooth system. Second one is smallest number of teeth that mesh with rack. And third column is smallest number of teeth in equal pinion that give continuous driving. Is that okay? Are you there? On the left hand side, you have got 14.5 degree full depth involute. Then you have got 20 degree full depth involute. And then third one is 20 degree stub tooth involute. Okay. So if you look at the minimum number of teeth, they are for 14.5 degree. What is the number of teeth minimum here? Can anyone tell me? Then it will be easy for me.
32.
32, sir.
No. That is for rack and pinion. Ignore that second column. Come to third column. Second
20,
column
sir.
is for rack and pinion.
20.
20,
sir.
correct, exactly. For 20 degree FDI, that is full depth involute is minimum number of teeth is
12.
12. Okay, right. So now from the table 12.4b, okay, the minimum number of teeth that should be taken as a selection of Z1 minimum number of teeth should be 12. You cannot choose Z1 which is less than 12. You understand what I'm telling? Okay. Right. So select Z1 such that Z2 is not a fractional value. That is, substitute Z1 minimum of 12 teeth, minimum of 12 teeth. Then you have got speed of pinion and speed of gear. So you have got velocity ratio over here. So that when you multiply by Z1 that we have chosen, which is minimum of 12 for 20 degree full depth involute, you should get Z2 such that it is not a fraction, but it is a whole number. You understood what I'm telling now? How to select Z1 and from where to select. It is table 12.4D, correct? Table 12.4D. This is what you need to look at. If you look at table 12.4D, so you will get minimum number of teeth for Z1. Select Z1. It can be 12, it can be 13, 14, 15, 16, anything. Such that Z2 is not a fractional value. You should select such a way that Z2 is not a fractional value. You got my point now? Did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Yes, sir. So that is the first step, is selection of number of teeth on pinion. Next, you have to find out Lewis form factor using, there are three equations to find Lewis form factor. Please go to the equations. Okay, in the spur gear, you will get again for 14.5 degree full depth involute, 20 degree full depth involute, and 20 degree stub tooth. For all the three, you will have three different equations to find out Lewis form factor. Please go there and check what is the equation number. It is essentially, it will be something like this: 0.154 minus 0.912 by Z1.
12.5 CD.
Yes, sir. 12.5D, sir.
12.5
Yes, sir. 2 point.
It is
12.5D.
Okay. Others also please see that equation. It is 0.154 minus 0.912 by Z. Correct? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that Z value, what you should do is to find out YP. Okay. To find out Lewis form factor on pinion, you should use Z1. To find out Lewis form factor on a gear or driven member, you should use what value of Z?
Z2.
Z2.
Exactly. Z2 is number of teeth on gear. Z1 is number of teeth on pinion. So use say Z1 and Z2 and find out Lewis form factor YG and YP for gear and pinion respectively. Okay. So that is step number 2. Next, again, as I said in the leaf springs chapter, we need to replace the set as a whole. So here also the same concept holds good. So people may wish to replace both pinion and gear. So therefore, they want to have both the strength of both pinion and gear to be equal. To make both pinion and gear to be equally strong, what we need to have is the sigma naught P YP. Sigma naught P stands for what? Static allowable stress on pinion. YP stands for Lewis form factor on pinion, should be almost equal to sigma naught G into YG. So what is sigma naught G? Sigma naught G is allowable static stress on gear material. Okay. And YG is Lewis form factor on gear. Then what you need to do is you need to take the ratio of YG by YP find out yg by yp, because in the previous step, step number 2, you have found out yg and you have found out yp. Take the ratio of yg by yp. It should be almost equal to sigma, that is sigma naught p by sigma naught g. I have taken the ratio from this expression. Sigma naught p yp is equal to sigma naught g yg. Okay. So from
Can you show the
this,
slide, sir?
Sir, are you sharing the PPT?
oh, you're not seeing the PPT?
No, sir, we can't see,
No,
sir.
sir.
Oh my God, what is this? Oh, resume presentation. You're able to see it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now we can see, sir.
Ah, okay. Then again, I'll start from fresh. Okay. Yeah. You have taken down the sketch now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, again, first step is to find number of teeth on pinion and gear by using equation N1Z1 is equal to N2Z2. Okay. Correct? So, Z2 will be equal to N1 by N2 multiplied by Z1. Correct? Am I there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So, select Z1 such that Z2 is not a fractional value. So, Z1, I said it is go to table 12.4, go to table 12.4D. Okay. The minimum number of teeth on Z1 is how much? How many? It is 12. Correct? So select minimum of 12, and it can be more than 12 also, 13, 14, 15, 20, 25, anything. You choose Z1 such a way that Z2 is not a fractional value. So this much you understood, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, but to have compact design, you need to choose Z1 to be as less as possible with minimum of 12 teeth. You can choose start with 12 and then check for Z2. If it is not a fractional value, then you can keep Z1 as 12. That is to make the system compact. Next, what you need to do is you have to find out Lewis form factor using equation numbers. What is the equation number, Chaitanya? You said 12.5 ABC, no?
CDE, sir.
Okay, CDE. So for a 20-degree full depth involute, it is going to be 0.154 minus 0.912 by Z. Correct? Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now find YG, Lewis form factor for gear, using Z2 value in that equation. Find Lewis form factor YP by taking Z1 into Lewis form factor. Find out YG and YP for gear and pinion respectively in second step. Third step, as I said, to replace the entire set of gear and pinion, okay, the people want to make both pinion and gear to be equally strong. So to make that, we can take sigma naught p yp to be equal to sigma naught g yg. Okay, so we have found out yg and yp in step number 2. Take the ratio of yg and yp. Calculate ratio of yg and yp. Now it should be almost equal to, it need not be exactly equal to, you cannot achieve that. So almost equal to sigma naught p yp. So what is sigma naught p? I said it is allowable static stress on pinion is sigma naught p. Allowable static stress on gear is sigma naught g. Correct? Are you there? Okay.
Yes.
So they are static allowable stresses of pinion material, static allowable stress of gear material. So what is that I need to do now? I need to select the material for pinion and gear. Okay. To select material for pinion and gear, okay, what I need to do is I have to go to table. I'll tell you the table number. Okay, so table number 12.7. Go to table 12.7, page number 234. Go to table 12.7, table 12.7, page number 234.
Yes, sir.
Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So there you have got cast iron grade 20. Your available static stress is 47.1. Don't look at which are in brackets, which is in kg4 per mm square. Okay. So next you have got cast iron grade, so on cast iron grade 35, heat treated, untreated, bronze, phosphor bronze, steel C30, C40, for which you have got static, allowable static stresses in this column. Correct? Okay, in that column you have got so many. So in that, do not use chromium. Try to avoid alloy steel, what that you can use. Chromium, nickel, steel, and below. You are there? Okay. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, avoid using chromium, nickel, steel, and below whatever material that is there. Then, for spur gear design, do not use bronze, phosphor bronze, manganese bronze, aluminum bronze. You avoid using these four materials. Okay? Okay? So you are left with cast iron grade 20, 25, 35 heat treated, cast steel untreated, cast steel heat treated. Then you have got forged steel, 0.3% carbon, heat treated and untreated. Then C30 heat treated, C40, C45, and steel C45. These are the materials that you have got to choose. Are you there now? Now can you see the slide of gear design?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So from that table, what we need to do is we should choose static allowable stress of pinion and gear such a way that the ratio of static stress of pinion and gear is almost equal to ratio of yg by yp. You got what I'm telling now? So you
Yes,
choose
sir.
two materials from the table. What is the table number? I said it is 12.7,
7.
12.7, page number 234. Okay. Select two materials, one for pinion and one for gear. Take the ratio. Okay. Normally in problems, they'll give these values. Okay. If not given, this is what you need to do. Okay. Now, normally to avoid confusion, they are giving static stress values in the question paper itself. So, but if not given, we need to select the materials from the table 12.7. Choose static stress values for pinion and gear from table 12.7 such that their ratio is almost equal to ratio of yg by yp. Okay, are you there? Okay, so next step is to find weaker of the gear pair. How do I get weaker of the gear pair? So gear pair is nothing but it's a pair of pinion and gear, that is driver and driven. Okay, so you need to find out sigma naught g into yg, because you have selected sigma naught g over here and we have calculated yg over there in step number 2. So sigma naught g yg you calculate, you will get a value. Then for pinion, you calculate sigma naught p into yp, you will get a value. Okay, you will get a value. So if sigma naught g yg is less than sigma naught p yp, then gear is weaker. Otherwise, if sigma naught p yp is less than sigma naught g yg, then pinion is going to be weaker. Are you there? We are trying to find out weaker of the gear pair. So if sigma naught p yp is less than sigma naught g yg, then pinion is weaker. If sigma naught GYG is less than sigma naught PYP, then gear is weaker. Okay. So why we have to find out weaker or gear pair is all further design calculations are going to be based on weaker of the gear pair. Are you there? That means we are going to take, if gear is weaker, we are going to use N2 and Z2 for calculations. If pinion is weaker, we are going to use N1, Z1, YP, okay, for further calculations. Are you there with me now?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
now what you do is you note down these 4 steps. Please note down in your notebook these 4 steps. Okay, finished, huh? Did you note down?
No, sir.
Yeah. So it is very, very important here. If nothing is given, we need to assume it as 20-degree full depth involute, FDI. FDI stands for full depth involute profile. So what is profile? We learned yesterday. It is the combination of face and flank. That is profile. What is pressure angle? Again, that we learned yesterday about pressure angle. So first step is simple. N1 Z1 is equal to N2 Z2. So therefore Z2 is equal to N1 by N2 into Z1. Choose Z1, okay, from table. What is the table number there? 12.4D, okay, table 12.4D. So choose Z1 minimum of 12. for 20-degree full depth involute. Select Z1 such that Z2 is not a fractional value. First step. Second step is to find Lewis form factor for both gear and pinion. Okay, using equations 12.5 CDE, I think. Okay, just cross check. So second step is to find Lewis form factor of pinion and gear using equations 12.CDE for various pressure angles. Third step is to find out the ratio of YG and YP. Then choose two materials from table 12.7, page number 234, such that the ratio of static stresses is almost equal to ratio of YG and YP. And then fourth step is to find out sigma naught GYG and sigma naught PYP. If sigma naught GYG is less than sigma naught PYP, then gear is weaker. If sigma naught PYP is less than sigma naught GYG, then pinion is going to be weaker. So further design is based on, okay, weaker of the gear pair. That is the conclusion at this junction. So further design is based on weaker of the gear pair. Finished, huh?
Yes, sir.
Done? Done, all of you, anybody? Gunasagar, Barpandra,
Sure.
Meghnath Prasad? Finished, huh? Okay.